Welcome to Weston Park in Shropshire, when you couldn't be joining me at a better time because conditions are absolutely perfect for catching big carp. As you can see behind me, there's a low pressure front that's moved in, there's lots of cloud cover, there's a little bit of light drizzle in the air, and there's a nice gentle breeze, but most importantly it's really warm, and the fish, they all spawned last week, so as you can imagine they're on the feed big time. When we arrived this morning about 2 hours or so ago, had a chat with one or two of the syndicate members who were fishing on the water, and they're all catching fish. There's been some decent carp out to over 30 pounds during the course of the last 48 hours, so to be arriving at a lake at that, we're really brimming with confidence. We're in the boathouse swims. We've got 3 swims available to us. We've got the African tree, which is where I'm set up now, and next door to me, which is called the right hand boathouse swim, is my girlfriend's dad, Ron. Now Ron's not an experienced carp angler like myself, but he's a very experienced pleasure angler. He's used to catching all different species, but this week's going to be a little bit different for him because he's got to contend with the big rods, the big reels, and also the big fish. But he's dead excited to be here. He's got his gear set up faster than I have. I've been busy tying rigs up, and yes, you've guessed it, he's had his rods out about 5 minutes and he's already into action. So let's go and have a look in this swim now and see what's going on. You just bring him towards me. Keep it coming, mate. The other rod, mate. Ooh. There we go. Well done, Ron. What a great start. How's about that, mate?
Not bad at all.
That is a decent kipper, mate, that. Well, I've not even got a rod out yet, and Ron has just lost one a few minutes ago, which was a small fish, and he's just landed this one, which looks a really nice fish. So, excellent start. Well, there's Ron's first fish, and it's weighed in at 26. You happy with that one, mate?
Yeah, I'm happy. More than happy.
Just got the rods out. First rod went, it lost the fish, and then he's just landed that one. So, that's literally probably half an hour the rods have been out, haven't they, mate?
Yeah, no more than that.
Caught us off guard a little bit because we've only just got the rods out. But it's a cracking start and good sign for the rest of the trip. A nice 26 pounder for Ron. Mega. So this is the swim that I'm set up in then for the next few days, and it's known as the African tree because of that really impressive tree just to the right of the swim. It's absolutely fantastic looking thing, and there's loads of really magnificent trees around this lake, and most of them are older than Ron, so that tells you how old they are. Incredible. So onto the rods. I've only got 2 rods out at the minute. I'm going to put the 3rd rod out as soon as I've finished this filming, but the 2 rods that I've got out, I've fired as tight to that far margin as I can possibly get them. Both of them have just clipped the trees, so they're exactly where I want them to be. They're all clipped up and marked, but basically they're fished as single hook baits. I've got 2 20 millers out there, one on the left hand rod and one on the right hand rod, and all I've done is gone round before I cast out and scattered a liberal amount of bait all along that margin. Some really nice overhanging trees over there. There's a lovely set of reeds, and the most important thing about that margin is that there's no swims along there, so you tend to get an awful lot of fish congregating as tight to that far bank as you can possibly get. So if you can clip the trees, then you're always in with a good shout of a fish or two. And both of them are fished with the bait runner all locked down. There isn't a bait runner on either of the reels that I'm using, but I've got the clutch set as tight as I possibly can, so all I'm going to be doing is waiting for a couple of 3 bleeps, rod knocking, and away we go. Oh, there you go. And that's where my 3rd rod's probably going to go, just out into open water out there, where I have seen 1 or 2 fish showing whilst I was setting up in the swim earlier. And that particular rod I'm not going to put as much bait on because it's just going to be fishing for one bite at a time. So that's the rods, and as for the rest of the gear, I've got one of the old 2-man Titan bivvies set up at the moment, and that's just set up because my girlfriend Lucy's coming down in the next couple of days and she's going to be perched in there with me. But yeah, it's looking good, really brimming with confidence, and yeah, next bit is to get this third rod out and then sit back and hopefully catch a fish or two. That's a mirror. Pretty sure it is. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, that'll do. Good scrap that was. Yeah, it was a good scrap. Oh, it's a common. Yeah. So you are right. Well, should have known a young lad would get it right, not an old bloke like me. We not only come to Weston Park to fish in gorgeous surroundings, you come here to catch some glorious carp. And I'm sure you'll agree that is an absolutely beautiful common. And it's weighed in at 28 pounds. Really, really happy with that. That's my biggest one so far. And it's only the second day of the trip, so maybe that's a good sign of things to come. Brilliant. Very angry common, an aggressive male, and he's gone already. Fantastic. I'm sure you'll agree the lake looks absolutely stunning this morning. We've got completely different conditions to what we had yesterday. The sun's nice and high in the sky. There's even the odd fish cruising about amongst the upper layers and the weed, and there is an awful lot of weed out there, I have to say, because Weston is known for being in shallow water. The maximum depth is only about 4 or 5 feet, with the majority of it probably only 2 or 3 feet. So as you can imagine, at this time of the year, certainly when it gets nice and warm, that weed can get very prolific. The good news is it's not that horrible Canadian pondweed that you tend to find on a lot of fisheries, but the bad news is it's that filamentous algae, or cotton wool, as anglers like to call it, which, you know, it's horrible to fish in. It's not too bad when it comes to getting fish through it. I've had no problems at all this week with any of the hook fish that I've had. It's mainly to do with the fact that every single time you cast out and reel in, you're reeling in a big ball of weed, and that ball of weed then needs time to be picked off the line because it breaks down into tiny little fragments. It clings to the main line, the lead clip, the hook link, the hook, the bait, and if you're not very accurate with your casting, then it can take double the amount of time to get things right, and it does need to be right as well. And I'll spend ages picking away at the rig, picking all the little filaments off, because I want that presentation to be absolutely right. But it's working at the moment. Whatever I'm doing, it's working okay for us this week. I'm catching fish. I've had quite a few so far, and so's Ron, including a few nice commons up to 28 pounds. But it does feel pretty good for a big fish. Don't know what it is at the moment. There's the fish have just spawned, and you know, they're on the feed. We've already gone through quite a lot of bait, and I've got a good feeling that over the next couple of days, certainly if this sun goes down and we get that cloud coming back in, which is what it's forecast, there's a good chance that we're going to get amongst the 30s, and there's quite a few of these 30 pounders in here, and there's also quite a few mid to upper 30s as well. So to get one of those on the bank during the course of this week will be really good. That's what I'm aiming for, and I honestly do think it could happen because, as I say, conditions look right for it. So fingers crossed. Right, I've just found a group of fish cruising around on the surface, and they look definitely catchable. And none of them are very big, but the action during the day on the bottom has not really been that great. So I've come down here, put a few mixers out, and I've actually got them feeding. It's probably taken me a good half an hour or so of just steady trickling the bait in, and 1 or 2 of them are coming up now to take. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my little scope rod and a net and some bits and pieces, and then just creep through the bushes just into the reeds to the left of the lily pads, and literally just dap a hook bait over the edge of the lilies and see if we can get one. I don't anticipate getting anything of any size, but it definitely looks like good fun. So let's see how we get on. Well, I've managed to winkle out one of the fish, and it is probably one of the smallest one of the group. It's probably about 11 or 12 pounds, and he's managed to do me in the lilies. He's just picked the hook bait up and shot straight into the lilies, and after a little bit of pressure, he's managed to pop the hook out. So there you go, that's carp fishing, but it was fun while it lasted. I know a lot of guys like to know about the rigs and end tackle being used in these films, so I'm going to quickly talk you through the presentation that I'm using today. There's nothing fancy about it. I've just got a 15-pound decam mono straight through to a lead clip. I'm not using any leader whatsoever, so there's no knot on the line that's going to get stuck in the weed. On the lead clip, we've got a size 3.5 ounce lead, and then tucked inside it is the swivel, and attached to that we've got roughly 6 to 8 inches of coated hook link. And I've taken off all of the outer coating of the hook link, so we're just left with a nice braided supple material. As for the hook, I'm using one of the size 6 Fang X pinpoint hooks, and then on the hair I've got a single 20mm Scope X squid. I've got bags of confidence in this presentation. The bait's an amazing bait. It's caught carp from all around the world, and it's renowned for being a big fish producer. So let's see if it lives up to its reputation over the next couple of days. Well, there's some right old fish in this place, and this is one of them at just over 30 pounds, and that has made my trip. It really has. Got some weed on it.
That looks like a decent one to me.
Oh yes, it's not a bad fish. But with all the weed on it as well, it weighs about 50 pounds.
Or we're coming in backwards then.
Yeah.
The weed.
Cool, I don't want to come in. There's a big tail. Oh, that'll do. Whew. Oh, that's a good fish, that is. That's another 30, that is. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, what a great morning. I've just had a brace of 30 pounders, including this one at 35.5. And I've just seen a photograph of it on the wall in the boathouse when somebody had it at 38 last year, so that's a good weight post spawning, and I'll definitely settle for that. Well, it's been another fantastic trip to Weston. We've had over 30 fish between us, mostly 20s, including the big mirror, which turned out to be the biggest one in the lake spawned out. My thanks to RH Fisheries for a lovely week. If anyone watching this is interested in fishing the boathouse, the good news is it's open to all. You'll find full details about booking it on the RH Fisheries website.